You know there are nights when you go to sleep thinking tomorrow will just be another ordinary day. But what if I told you that your tomorrow morning has already been shaped by the way you are spending your evening right now? Not in a mystical or complicated sense, but in a deeply spiritual reality that many of us overlook while chasing our routines, our screens, our distractions, and our endless to-do lists. The truth is, the night you are living is quietly writing the story of your morning provision, your peace, and even the unseen blessings that you call Barakah and Rizq. You know, there is something deeply overlooked in our daily lives, something so ordinary that we rarely pause to think about its impact, and yet it quietly shapes the direction of our next day. It is the way we end our evening, not the big achievements, not the stressful hours of work, not the conversations we had during the day, but the final moments before sleep. Those moments are not just a transition into rest. They are a transition into what your tomorrow is slowly becoming. Many people assume that tomorrow begins when they wake up, when the alarm rings, when they step into their responsibilities. But in reality, tomorrow begins much earlier than that. It begins when your eyes are still open at night, when the world is quiet, when your phone is still in your hand or placed aside, when your heart is either calm or restless, and when your thoughts are either scattered or focused. That is the hidden starting point of your next morning. What you plant in those moments does not disappear. It follows you into sleep, and from sleep, it quietly enters your waking hours. If you observe closely, you will notice a pattern in life that many ignore. There are people who wake up with ease, with clarity, with a sense of direction, even if their circumstances are not perfect. And there are others who wake up feeling heavy, confused, or already tired before the day has even begun. The difference is not always in wealth, status, or opportunity. Often, it is in how the night was spent. An evening filled with remembrance, gratitude, and inner peace does something to the heart that carries forward into the morning. And an evening filled with distraction, negativity, arguments, or endless scrolling leaves a residue that the mind carries into sleep and then into the next day. When we talk about Barakah, it is not something you can measure with numbers or explain with logic alone. Barakah is that unseen increase in goodness, that unexpected ease in your affairs, that peace in your heart, even when things are not perfect. And rizq is not only money or material provision. It is also time, energy, opportunities, relationships, and even mental clarity. What many people do not realize is that the state of your heart in the evening plays a role in how these things unfold for you the next day. It is as if the night is a quiet messenger carrying your inner condition forward into your future hours. Think about how your evening usually ends. For many, it ends with exhaustion, but not peace. The body is tired, but the mind is still active. The screen is still glowing. The thoughts are still jumping from one worry to another. Some are thinking about what went wrong today. Others are anxious about what tomorrow might bring. And some are simply escaping reality through distractions that numb the mind rather than calm it. In that state, sleep becomes not a reset, but a continuation of mental noise. And when the morning arrives, that same noise is still there, just in a different form. But imagine a different kind of evening. Imagine ending your day with a moment of stillness, where you let go of what you could not control, where you forgive what hurt you, where you thank the one who allowed you to reach the end of the day safely. Imagine lowering your phone, stepping away from unnecessary noise, and allowing your heart to settle. Even if only for a few minutes, you sit in reflection. You remember the blessings you were too busy to notice during the day. You acknowledge your mistakes without despair. You make a quiet intention to do better tomorrow. In that simplicity, something powerful begins to form inside you, because the heart is not only shaped by big events, it is shaped by consistent endings. How you close your day becomes the emotional and spiritual foundation of your next beginning. When your evening is filled with calmness, your sleep becomes deeper. not just physically but emotionally. And when your sleep is peaceful, your morning does not feel like a struggle to start, but a gentle continuation of that peace. There is also something very important that happens in the unseen relationship between your evening state and your provision. Many times people feel that their efforts are not bringing results, that their work is not producing enough benefit, or that life feels stuck. But they often overlook how much inner clutter they are carrying into their nights. A heart that goes to sleep filled with stress, resentment, or dissatisfaction does not easily receive clarity. And clarity is one of the doors through which opportunities enter. When the mind is cluttered, even good opportunities can feel confusing or overwhelming. But when the heart is light, even small opportunities feel meaningful and easy to act upon. That is why the night is not just about rest. It is about reset. It is about releasing what you do not need to carry forward. It is about cleaning the internal space so that what is meant for you can reach you without resistance. Because sometimes the problem is not that provision is delayed, but that the heart is too distracted to recognize it when it arrives. And there is another subtle truth. The way you end your evening often reflects your relationship with gratitude. A person who ends their day remembering even a few blessings, no matter how small, develops a mindset of abundance, and that mindset changes how they wake up. Instead of waking up with complaint, they wake up with awareness. Instead of immediately feeling pressure, they feel possibility. That shift alone can change the entire direction of a day. Even your sleep carries intention. When you sleep with a calm heart, you are not just resting your body, you are allowing your soul to breathe. And when the soul breathes, it wakes up lighter. That lightness becomes visible in your actions, your patience, your interactions, and even your ability to handle challenges that would otherwise feel overwhelming. But when nights are neglected, when they are filled with noise, arguments, unnecessary consumption, or emotional baggage, the soul does not fully rest. It carries fragments of that heaviness into the morning. And then people wonder why their days feel unproductive, or why they feel constantly tired even after sleeping. The truth is simple, but often ignored. Your evening is not separate from your morning. They are connected like two chapters of the same story. What you write in the last lines of the night becomes the opening lines of your day. And if those last lines are filled with chaos, the beginning will reflect it. But if those last lines are filled with peace, reflection, and surrender, then your beginning will carry a softness that cannot be explained, only experienced. So when you think about improving your life, your productivity, your rizq, or your barakah, do not only look at what you do during the busiest hours of the day. Look at what you do when everything slows down. Look at how you treat your final moments before sleep, because that is where tomorrow is quietly being shaped. Not in loud events, but in silent intentions. There is a reality many people pass through without truly noticing, and it is something so subtle that it doesn't announce itself loudly in your life, yet it shapes so much of what you experience the next day. It is the condition of your heart and your actions in the unseen hours of the evening, when the world slows down, when no one is watching, when your responsibilities for the day are mostly behind you, and when you are left alone with yourself. In those moments, something very quiet but very powerful is happening. It is not just rest time for the body, it is a reflection time for the soul, whether you realize it or not. Risk is often thought of in narrow terms, like income, salary, or material provision, but in reality it is much wider than that. Risk includes the ease you feel in your heart when you wake up, the clarity of thought when you make decisions, the opportunities that come your way without struggle, the people who support you unexpectedly, and even the time you are given to accomplish things without feeling constantly overwhelmed. And barakah is not about quantity alone. It is about quality, peace, and divine blessing in what you already have. Sometimes a small amount becomes sufficient and fulfilling, and sometimes a large amount feels empty and stressful. That difference is barakah. Now, what many people do not realize is that there is a deep connection between the unseen state of your evening and how these forms of rizq and barakah unfold in your morning. The evening is a private space. It is when you are no longer performing for the world. You are not proving anything to anyone. You are simply being yourself. And in that state, what you choose to do, what you think about, what you carry in your heart, and how you end your day all become part of a silent preparation for what is coming next. There are nights when a person ends their day in calmness, where they remember their Creator, where they feel gratitude for even the smallest blessings, where they let go of grudges they were holding during the day, and where they acknowledge their weaknesses without despair. That kind of ending has a softness to it. It does not mean life becomes perfect, but it means the heart is aligned in a way that allows mercy and ease to flow more naturally into the next day. When such a person wakes up, there is a sense of lightness. Even if problems exist, they do not feel crushing. Even if challenges appear, they do not feel impossible. Something inside them feels supported in ways they cannot fully explain. On the other hand, there are evenings where the heart is left in confusion, anger, distraction, or heaviness. A person may spend hours consuming things that add no real value, feeding their mind with noise, comparison, or negativity, or ending the day in unresolved emotions. They may go to sleep without reflection, without gratitude, without any sense of closure. And then they wake up feeling exactly as they went to sleep, unsettled. The mind continues what it was fed, the heart continues what it was carrying, and the body wakes up under the weight of what was never released. This is where many people misunderstand their own struggles. They think their lack of progress is only about external circumstances, but often it is also about internal readiness to receive what Allah has already written for them. Because rizq is not only about what is given, it is also about how it is received. A heart full of chaos struggles to recognize ease even when it is present. A mind full of worry finds difficulty even in simple tasks. But a heart that is calm, even if life is imperfect, can find hidden openings of ease within difficulty. The evening is one of the most honest reflections of who a person is when no one is watching. And that honesty matters deeply, because in those private hours, a person either builds inner alignment or inner confusion. When someone pauses to remember their blessings, even if their day was difficult, something shifts inside them. Gratitude does not erase problems, but it changes the way problems sit in the heart. They become lighter, more manageable, less overwhelming. And when a person sleeps in that state, their rest is deeper, not just physically, but spiritually. And that deeper rest influences their morning energy, their patience, and their ability to handle the day ahead. There is also something very important about sincerity in those private moments. When a person turns to their Creator, when no one is watching, when there is no audience, no recognition, no expectation from others, that sincerity carries weight. Even a few quiet moments of remembrance, even a simple moment of asking for forgiveness, even a silent acknowledgement of dependence on divine mercy can reshape the direction of one's unseen provisions. Because those moments are not measured by length, but by sincerity of heart. And sometimes, risk is delayed, not because it is absent, but because the heart is too distracted to align with it. It is like trying to receive something while your hands are already full of unnecessary burdens. The evening is the time when those burdens can be put down. It is the time when the heart can be emptied of resentment, worry, pride, and unnecessary attachment, so that what is meant for tomorrow can enter more easily. Many people overlook how powerful emotional state is in shaping their experience of life. If someone ends their evening with stress, comparison, anger, or unresolved frustration, that emotional residue does not simply disappear overnight. It travels into their sleep and influences how they wake up. But if someone ends their evening with reflection, peace, and trust, even if life is still imperfect, they create an internal environment that is more receptive to ease. And when the heart is receptive, even small openings in life feel like blessings. There is also a subtle mercy in the night itself. It is designed for rest, for reflection, for stillness. When a person aligns themselves with that purpose, they benefit in ways they may not immediately understand. But when they resist it by overstimulating their mind until the last moments before sleep, they often carry unnecessary mental weight into the next day. That weight affects focus, mood, and even decision-making. And over time, it shapes the quality of their life in quiet but significant ways. Barakah in the morning is often a reflection of how the night was spent. A morning filled with ease is rarely disconnected from a night filled with surrender. A morning filled with confusion is rarely disconnected from a night filled with mental noise. It is a continuous flow, not separate events. The unseen world of the night feeds the visible experience of the day. So when a person begins to understand this connection, they start valuing their evenings differently. They begin to realize that how they close their day is not a small matter. It is a preparation for unseen blessings. It is a shaping of inner clarity. It is a silent conversation with destiny, where the heart either aligns with ease or drifts into distraction. And in that alignment, something very profound happens quietly, where the next morning is not just another beginning, but a continuation of a heart that chose peace over chaos, gratitude over neglect, and remembrance over forgetfulness.